Hey, what's up? This is another edition of the Pages Speak. We have some powerful women of God on here tonight. Hold on to your seat. We are going to go over a roller coaster ride. We're going to see a lot of things pop off right now. This is like a version of Set It Off. Come on. We pop, pop. All right, look all four of them. They look like they set it off from the movie. They're going to set it off tonight with the women's dynamic. All right. All right. Well, I want each one of you to introduce yourselves. Go ahead, start with Larramy. Introduce yourself.
Oh, hi. I'm Pastor Larramy, and I am a part of EKLM. And yeah, that's all I want to say. What's up, everybody?
Okay, what up, though? Pastor Larramy, come on in the house.
I have to say something.
Go ahead and say something.
She has a natural oil line, natural butter, and jewelry.
Come on,
called It's Simple, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome.
Yes. Boom. Marketplace.
It is simple. It's body bombs. Listen, this oil, honey, you don't get ashy.
Right.
It is good for us folk. You don't get. Wait a minute. You can put it on your hands, and you know how you put stuff on your hands, and like 30 minutes later, the ash be popping up.
That makes man's hands supple.
Yeah.
Supple.
Yes. So, throw that out.
Next
Thank you.
Sonia Green, tell us about yourself.
What up, what up, what up, everybody? My name is Sonia Green.
All right. Okay. Amen. All right.
Okay, now do I have to do this for everybody?
Come on, do it.
Now, Apostle Sonia Green is a dynamic woman. She keeps it real.
Come on now.
Okay, you can look for her. Like I said, she'll be up sometimes on her internet show. Sometimes she just pop up.
TOL.
What is it? So what is it?
JTOL TV network.
Oh, okay. So JTOL TV. And what does JTOL stand for?
Just thinking out loud.
Yes.
Come on.
You need to think out loud.
Yes. And a lot of times we be thinking, keeping it to ourselves when we need to open our mouths so we can get to some dialogue. We think about it, but we need to keep it real. So let's not just keep it in our heads. Let's put it out there. What's the word say? Let's come and reason with one another. So let's think out loud. Let's just put stuff out there. Because we be thinking about some stuff other people need to hear. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
What about you over there in the other corner?
In the other corner, in the corner over there. My name is Jaelyn. I'm a minister at Empire Life Ministries, and the pages are my parents.
Amen. And she's also an awesome prophetess.
Yes,
Amen.
yes.
Woman of God, she hears God. Come on now. Hallelujah.
Yes.
And she's a nurse.
Yes.
Somebody out there watching.
Yes. She is a registered nurse. And right now she's working at Cleveland Clinic, which is one of the most prestigious hospitals in the entire country.
Come on now.
Okay.
Is that on the east side of Detroit or west side? Is that on the east side or the west side of Detroit?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Now this is the thing. It's funny because all of these wonderful women are doing all kinds of wonderful things.
Come on now.
But yet and still they don't toot their own horn.
Come on now.
You know, so have they been taught, you know, just to keep it on the low and just to be nice and, you know, soft, to not intimidate people? So has that ever been a thing that you have not spoken or stepped out or maybe held back on some things? Because, you know, a lot of times strong women sometimes get labeled. They'll be called, again, when they speak out, they get called different names, or, you know, they're just not received in the same way. So who wants to talk about that?
I can talk about that. Because I've always worked in fields where my degree has always put me in fields in areas that were predominantly men. And so if you are more brilliant than them, they tend to, how do you say it, push down your brilliance so they can seem great. And even around some women, I don't talk about what I do is because in the church, number one, they teach you, be humble. And, you know, and God will elevate you. So I don't talk about it a lot because I do a lot of stuff. And so when you start talking about what you do, some people be feeling some kind of way. And so it's just best to, you know, let other people shine. And you just see me, what I'm doing, when I'm shining. So I don't talk about a lot of it just because it brings people, you know, women start competing, they start talking about you. You think you know everything, you do everything, you know, and just because you have a little bit more knowledge or your strength is in that area and they want to do it. Now, their strength is not in that area. Their strength, Pastor John, is in making coffee, or what did you tell her, put on the apron? That's their strength. I'm just joking, y'all, but I'm just saying, like, my strength is not in what Jaelyn does. So I will relinquish the authority and everything that she knows to what she did. And all I can do, what you need me to bring you? That's all I can do for her. Mm-hmm. So I'm not afraid of that. So we don't celebrate each other, but I just don't talk about, I do a lot of stuff, but I just don't talk about it because people tend to label you.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is it that same way for men? Come on, let's talk about it.
Yeah. Is it the same way for men?
Come on, let's
definitely
talk.
Definitely. Well, men are competitors. We compete. It don't matter who it is, woman, man, child. We compete.
But I think it's a little different. I think you may compete, but unfortunately, I think what happens is a lot of times because women are either made to feel like they shouldn't shine as much or be as aggressive as much, that when they do come out aggressive, that, you know, they get labeled a certain thing, they get labeled as different, or they get labeled as aggressive, or, you know, when they're just actually just walking in their strength. So I honestly think that a lot of women have been trained, even from, you know, little girls, be still and look cute, you know, just sit still and be cute. You know, the boys will be running around doing whatever. You sit still, don't get dirty now. You just sit still and be cute. God, boys be climbing trees. Nope, you sit still, you know.
Yeah.
For sure. I know that I think men, when they are empowered, they create clubs around it. And what they do, they'll ostracize women from it. No.
Oh, I thought you said stripper clubs. I'm sorry.
So, like, you know, girl clubs, men clubs, like, you know, the boys club, that's what they call it, you know, and they create these clubs around, you know, what they do, and then they'll push out, you know, certain people, but a lot of times they don't compete against each other in many roles. They'll create a team around themselves to then elevate, and they'll give each other what they need to succeed, but they will ostracize females out of that. I don't experience that in my realm of career because I'm in a predominantly female field. I'm in nursing, but that's a field that they wanted females in some aspects. So there wasn't a compete when it comes to men in that situation. But even now, when men are nurses, they're glorified in many ways. They're paid more. And if they walk in the room, the patient respects them more because they think they're a doctor. You know, so because they're a man walking into the room, there's more respect there. So there's already a societal mindset put on people when looking at women and what roles they should be in. You know, to say that you're something other than a mother, something other than a nurse or something like that, they become surprised. Say that you like to work in construction and your hands are dirty and you have some calluses like that. They'll look at you as a man and they take away your femininity, even though those actions do not define your femininity and who you are as a female.
Yeah, I can speak to that really quickly. I want to get to Pastor Larramy, but for a long time I worked for the phone company and I was in the field. And when I went working in the field, they told me that I looked too much like a woman and that they literally said, you need to look more butch.
Oh.
And I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, you're out here in this male role. You need to look more butch. I'm like, I don't know. What is that? How, you know, what does that mean? You know, how do you do that? You know, I am who I am. I'm out here doing the job. I have on my hard hat. I have on my belt. I have on my steel toe boots. You know, I'm climbing the poles just like the men are. You know, I'm doing everything else. So what do you mean I have to look more butch to do my job?
You make me think like you had pink Timberlands on or something.
If they had them back then, I would have had pink Timberlands on, but they didn't have them back then. So I had on the same work boots everybody else got from, you know, from the
store. Or something?
Nah, no, I was just a woman.
Right.
You know, but they wanted me to carry on a different kind of persona, and I'm like, but why? Why would I have to change who I am in order to fit in this environment, because it's a mostly male-dominated field?
Mm-hmm.
You know, okay. Larramy.
Oh no, I was gonna say something that's kind of bouncing off of what Jaelyn said, as far as like what is expected, and also like as far as work is concerned. Like me being a teacher, a lot of my male friends who might not even be certified, they're kept on the job, and they might even get after school tutored or something like that, just because, you know, they're male and we're expected to do what we do. So what we get is supposed to be enough. You know what I'm saying? On the other end of the spectrum, what I was getting ready to say, as far as like, I feel like that we're expected to be one way, not individuals. You're girls, so girls do this, and this is what you're supposed to do. I remember getting in trouble a whole lot when I was younger. My mother would buy me heels, and I would always gravitate towards sneakers. I still do to this day, but that's just what I like. You know what I mean? So it's like, it makes me no less feminine, like she said, that I would like to wear sneakers instead of heels. It just don't make sense to me. I don't know. Yeah.
But you know, it's funny because that actually goes to you know, the reason why a lot of women are told to wear, you know, or taught to wear heels and thought that they should wear heels. And I'm just gonna ask my husband, do you think that high heels are attractive?
See, don't put me in all this. Don't put me in it. Y'all already looking like y'all about to say no. Not tonight.
So I think a lot of times, even the clothing that are that women feel, or that they're, you know, geared towards wearing, is not so much for our comfort, but so that we'll be attractive or look sexually appealing to the opposite sex. Because again, just like we were saying before, a lot of young women, we're going to go into this subject real quick. A lot of young women feel as though, or just have been told that, you know, you'll be complete once you get married, or once you get a husband, or that you need a man. So you're taught, even from a child, on, you know, this, we're going to train you how to, you know, how to look a certain way to get a man, and we're going to teach you how to be a wife, so you get baby dolls, and we're going to teach you how to cook, so you get to play kitchen, you know, because we're preparing you to be a wife. So do you believe in any way that, you know, you were, let's say, either made to feel you weren't complete without a man, or that, you know, you were taught even from a child, or geared towards preparing yourself to be a wife?
I think that it doesn't even have to be in your household, but I believe even like we saw society as a whole, feed you movies and feed you images that you're supposed to dream about your wedding day. And that Disney is a really great one, that, you know, you have to be saved, you know what I'm saying, by a prince. And that's just funny, because just a couple of years ago, what they do, they had all a meeting, you know, an animated meeting where they all came together. It's like, we don't want to have to rely on them anymore. We can, you know, do it ourselves. And they had this princess who no longer needed a man to save them and complete them in their life and have their happily ever after. That prior to that, she was able to be her own individual person. And that was not the goal to achieve. Women a lot of times are not told to achieve individuality. No, they're told to achieve a mate and relationship and kids, you know, and that's going to be your life. And you're going to be a great wife. And that's a compliment to them. You're going to be a great wife. What if I want to be a wife? What if I don't want to do that? That's not a compliment to me. What if I desire to live this life as an individual and single, and my career is my baby and my husband, things like that? That's frowned upon. Then she's a lonely hag, where, a man is like, a man is a powerful businessman, CEO. He's thriving. He's great. He built this business from ground up, and he's a bachelor. You know what I'm saying? He got a bachelor pad. The Bachelorette wasn't even a thing at first. Bachelor had many seasons before the Bachelorette became a thing. Before they started giving women the power to choose the man. The choice is never, a lot of times, in the female's hand. Is given to the male for a source of power. And we know that women seek to be suppressed in so many ways. And these societal mindsets are created to then put people in power and position to have control. And that's what happens. So they'll frame an image, they'll frame society to think a certain way to use power. Men want to be in power, and it's in the past, and in history, and that's where they put mindsets and feed false propaganda and things like that. It's always been an issue when women wanted to work, but they were the ones who allowed men to go to war when they went to work at the steel mills. It's really a benefit if everybody can live in their best ability for themselves and not putting someone in a suppressive place. But when people get power hungry, they want to demean and not empower.
Okay, I hear you. Do y'all feel that because of these things that have been put in place, that you have to fight harder to attain a certain level of power for yourself and respect?
Yes, it's called the glass ceiling. That's why it's great. That was created because women have to fight to break it. That it was a cap put on us in everything we've done.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
All right. Do you feel, I got another question. Do you feel you were judged for your clothes? That's another one people I want to hear about. Have you ever been judged because of what you wore? I'm sorry.
Yeah. And something as slow as wearing pants to choir rehearsal. Like,
what?
Yeah, was judged.
That was a thing?
Yeah, it was a thing. And then there was a scripture used about what a woman should wear. Their pants, their clothes. Be happy I got on clothes because I don't want to wear none. So just be happy that I came out the house with some clothes on, right? I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Come on, man. So let me wear some jogging pants and a t-shirt. Come on, let us.
So this is my little 0.000%. So what I found is that we're talking about designing of clothes. And it's a lot of gay men who design clothes for women because in their mind, they think this is how women supposed to dress. I can't work in those 17-inch heels, stilettos, you know what I mean? And I can't, you know what I mean? They just kind of overcompensate. So when society is pushed with that idea of what a woman should dress like, or because based upon it, and I'm not, please, if anyone's on here in that lifestyle, I'm not hating on you. I'm just making an observation, is that they overcompensate trying to be a woman. But I'm like, give me some gym shoes, give me some comfortable shoes, because when I reach 60 and 70, I still want to be able to walk with no corns, with no calluses. I want my ankles and my feet to be strong. And when you start wearing those shoes all the time, you know, your feet is not healthy. Let's just be real. And so this is just from what I'm seeing, because most of the time, I love my t-shirts. Now, I can get cute, but let me decide when I want to do it. You don't determine what's sexy and what I should look like. For years, and here we go, I'm trying to stay away from that systematic church. But for years, when I just started learning about Christ, everybody tried to shape me into how they think or thought a Christian woman should be. Like, you don't wear gym shoes. You don't do this. Change how you dress. Don't wear blue jeans. Don't wear jogging pants. Or, wear a dress all the time. I'm like, listen, I play drums. I play drums and dresses and heels, but it's not comfortable. You know what I mean? Trying to get the mindset for people to think that you must be gay.
Okay. So that brings to something else. So I don't know who, set the standard, because really with the high heels, I don't know if it was gay men or just men, period, who think that, high heels, short skirts, or that's sexy. And that's because women have been sexualized. And many times, even in a marriage, people believe, or I know, I'll just speak of my own personal history. I was told by my husband, not this one, the one I had before.
Put your guns away.
The one I had before. Who was very into the church and trying to be holy. And of course, he was taught that, again, you have to give due benevolence. We're okay with that. But he's basically told me the purpose of having a wife and getting married is so that you can have sex without going to hell. So all the other attributes that I may have are of no value to you, because what you value is, what I can help with your libido. And unfortunately, I believe even in society, a lot of the things that women bring to the table, are diminished or ignored because of what others feel are valuable. So our empathy, or our compassion, our ability to be insightful, our ability to complete things, or to take a task and take it to the end, or a lot of different things. I was just reading an article the other day that many of the sciences are the jobs for sciences are not being really fulfilled by women, because women are steered away from math and scientific fields. And so, I just find that interesting. Even engineering. Yeah, Jaelyn.
So I have a question for Dad. Do you believe that, Pastor Joe, do you, growing up, do you believe that it was that you were getting talked to by the older man in your community that women's value is only for their bodies, and that when women were talked about, it was typically talked about when it comes to sex and nothing else?
That was in the streets. They definitely talking about women's anatomy, and what I think most of the stuff that when I was coming up, it was the videos, it was the pictures that you seen of what a woman looked like all made up. So that is something that you kind of carried or been programmed to look for, because men are very visual when it comes to looking at the female anatomy. We notice y'all first before y'all even open up your mouth. Don't cut me now. Just tell me what it is. You know what I'm saying? Before we see y'all, and we're like, ooh, okay. But yeah, I think society has also programmed us to really look and like the 20-inch heels and your feet breaking down. We don't care. We just want you to wear your heels, your tight dress, looking all silhouette-ish. We just looking for something that appeals, right? We're looking for appeal, right? It's because we've been conditioned to look for something that's appealing. And most of the, if you wearing some jeans or if you wearing some overalls and you hanging out in the hood and you running around, people still gonna look at you, but not as hard as you are when you come in that way. And I'm glad I've been informed today that y'all don't like heels. Y'all want some gym shoes, some Air Force Ones, or some K-Swiss.
We want to be comfortable.
Some flats. Come on now, y'all ain't playing with them.
I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I just say for me, because I got a lot of female friends that really genuinely do like heels, so I'm not downing them. I'm just saying we should be allowed to be individuals, because we've been taught to accept that man for who he is, and he is who he is, settle for who he is. But you want us to be, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you, but we're expected to have this standard when you can be yourself.
Come on now.
Yeah. We've been taught to conform to fit what the male desires. It's almost like coming to America. You know, whatever he wants. So jump on one foot.
Oh, no.
You know, you know, whatever he wants. You
I
know,
think that'll be awkward.
he found it awkward too. You know, Jaelyn.
It's funny because today someone tagged me in a post, and I've seen it go around a couple times, but it was pretty much this man who was not up to par, you know, pretty much the bare minimum. Okay, didn't keep himself up, wasn't making no money, but his requirements were: I want her to have money, I want her to be a Coke bottle shape, can't be more than this weight, can't do this, can't do that, and you would have mistaken him for a bum on the street. That's how bad he was. But you like, why is it that you think you can make this request of me and you not live up to something yourself?
Right.
And then I'm supposed to make you look good, but you don't make me look good. You know, and if you know, and it's okay. It's I don't understand. I really don't. And I don't understand why it's such a catch-22 for women and not for men. I don't understand why these stigmas or requirements are put on women to be a certain way and not men, and that men can get away with so many things regarding lifestyle and choices and how they present themselves. But if a woman don't come correct, they have to be above par, best par. If they don't come correct, they're just, you know, slandered at the ankles. They're taken down, and they're not really forgiven easily for their mistakes. And men can just get away with so many different things, and they're glorified for their actions. Wrong actions they're glorified for. It's really mind-boggling for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I just wanted to tell you that you said a whole lot. First of all, I want to say, look, I'm probably gonna say your name.
It's okay,
wrong.
Larramy, like Jeremy with an L.
Larramy, like Jeremy. I can remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, I'm like you. I don't care who wear heels, and I like heels, but I like them when I want to wear them. So what I want to say about that, you was like, well, when did this all start? Well, it kind of started in the book of Genesis, where men began to interpret their greatness and diminish the value of women to the Lord. You know, it was the woman's fault that sin entered into the earth, you know, because the man he was minding his business. You know, it was when Ruth was trying to find Boaz, you know, he was chilling at the gate. She was out there working like a slave. You know what I mean? And so it's all in Proverbs 31, which we allow women to put our own selves in condemnation. I'm like, who can find? That's the biggest question. I would say the Bible says, who can find her? He's asking a question because you can't find all of these qualities in one woman because she only sleeps 1 hour of a day. You know, if you look at the timetable. So I think if we really look at the United States and just the world in itself, a lot of these ideas and perceptions come from a religious mindset. Well, the man is the great conqueror, the strength, you know, she's the bone of my bone, she's the flesh of my flesh. And, you know, instead of, she's not the helpmate, she's the slave mate. I mean, the help me, you know. So we get all these concepts and we put her as a second citizen, is that you're here to serve me. You're here for me. I don't care if I don't have no teeth. I don't care how big my stomach is. I don't care if my feet are hard. You know, what's his name on Shanae? You remember when she used to do the feet? They don't care, but they want you to look like Halle Berry or whomever, some fabulous woman. So I think a lot of mindsets and concepts come from what we have disseminated down from wherever moral authority you got it from. And just like Anita Baker said, she said, my mama never told me. Y'all remember fairy tales? My mama never told me that Joker would do this and he would do that and he would do this. She never said anything. She told me he would be the one that would ride on the night horse, just like you said, the baby dolls and the kitchenette sinks. You know, you want to play with racing cars and your mother and your parents get mad because they want you to go in the kitchen and be Betty Crocker. So I think it's a concept that if we can change mindsets and concepts about that, we probably won't, because I've always worked in predominantly male fields, always. And so that's the biggest fight, because they don't think that you're good enough. They always get more money. You're always smarter and you always do more work, but they always get all the accolades and the big raises and the management jobs and the leadership's job. They call you Jezebel and the B word. He's great and fabulous, and y'all doing the same thing and sounding the same way. So that, I'm just saying, if you look at a correlation, a lot of the stuff that falls from whatever Bible or whatever the Quran or whatever that person believes, you always see the woman being the second-handed citizen.
All righty. Okay. I was in my book, Gracefully Losing My Religion.
All right. Come on now.
I was doing Helen Rice, who is an associate professor of psychology at Harvard Medical School, basically was doing a study about empathy. And empathy is simply putting yourself in someone else's shoes so that you can gain an understanding of their perspective that they're coming from. So she was saying that society as a whole would be better if we learned empathy, that people will be able to understand people better, treat people better, so on and so forth. So one mother told her that she feared too much empathy would lead to softness or weakness, and that she didn't want her son to be like a girl. So she's feeling too much for other people, and therefore putting aside his own needs and unable to pursue his own goals. So with saying that, do you believe that women are oftentimes put in a position maybe to push aside and suppress their own needs and wants? For a man, I know, Sonia, you were speaking about that on the Steve Harvey show, something along those lines that came up.
She got unmute.
Because I've seen that a lot. We see it in the church. We see it when men who are entrepreneurs. We see that type of mindset, that the woman, she doesn't have dreams and visions, and she doesn't have a destiny. She doesn't, her destiny and her vision is always tied to her husband, and if he doesn't have one, it's always that way. Because let me change that. It's not always that way, but it appears from all things that I've witnessed, that's how things go. Because if you look at someone starting a church, the man wants to start it, yet they started together, but he's the one that does everything. And she's just like, well, you just be the good, diligent trophy wife. You know what I mean? Or they start a business, you just be the secretary. And so things like that. So, and one thing about it is that, like the Lord said to me, I've given her dreams, visions, and purpose too. So if we don't come together, with the dreams and vision, whatever, you may have a vision on build roofs. He may just have the vision on to build the foundation, but together y'all will build a house, And so, but when men think like that, because that's what here we go, going back to the biblications, right? Where it says, I will give you a wife and she will be your help. And they say helpmate, and most people believe, well, she gonna help me build my vision. She gonna help me build my dream. She gonna help me fulfill my destiny. And in all of it, she's pissed. She's angry because now she hasn't done anything. She hasn't fulfilled anything that was placed in her from the beginning of time. They always like to use those words. Look at my trophy. My beautiful wife. And so, and yeah, I thought that was so uncanny. And the Lord immediately said, I gave her dreams. Her dream is not to, make you great. The dream is to make both of y'all great together. Yeah. And so I just thought you probably all can attest to that. I'm sure there are great marriages out there. I know a lot of great marriages, for instance, the Pages, where they work as a team you know, they don't, you know, and it takes time to learn that. It ain't like you come together and it's Houdini and y'all working together. It takes time to learn how to gel. Tell it, look at it, go on and tell the truth, Jaelyn. I see you. Yeah. So,
Hey,
you know,
I just want to let y'all know I learned from Stella got his groove back. Don't fire your clothes in the car. You find your clothes burnt up, the house burnt down.
That's waiting.
You don't let her fulfill.
Waiting to exhale.
Yeah, waiting to exhale. Okay, well she exhaled with that cigarette, and she threw it in there. She exhaled and threw in some gasoline, and she just lit it on fire and walked away with a nice little walk, didn't she? So, brothers, if you out there listening, let them achieve their dream. She ain't just there for you. She's there for us. Come on, man.
Jaelyn.
So one thing that I'm thinking about is that I feel like the rules were all made by somebody who was selfish. These societal mindsets are just made by somebody who's selfish, who looked at achieving their goals and not somebody else's. And I'm not saying it's the men now. I know that these things were definitely perpetrated long before our time. You know, like Sonia Green was saying, you know, the Bible doesn't necessarily encourage it, but it can be interpreted improperly, that the women's value is less than the man's, and that they're only deemed to do certain things. And it was obviously perpetrated before the Bible was written, because we know the Bible was, you know, something was before then as well. So, but something happened where somebody saw gain in suppression of somebody else, and that now was passed down and is going to devalue somebody instead of empower somebody. People, we know as society, they see that stepping on someone's neck is more powerful than bringing them with you, and that you can build something together. And so that's why we have these tactics and of suppressing races and suppressing whole genders, you know what I'm saying, to power somebody else. So the biggest thing is that we need to feel valued, and we need to feel our freedom to be who we are and in our skin. It's funny, my brother Robert, one day he texted me and sent me a photo about these. It was a animated photo about these aunties working. One was construction worker, one was cutting wood and things like that. He's like, "That's you," and that is me. I like to watch HGTV, but not just for the point, because I like to decorate. I like to put on drywall and 2x4s. I know that it needs to be, you know, in the center and it's 16 inches apart. I know these things, and it did not take away my gender, you know what I'm saying, or my desire in any other field, you know what I'm saying, and it did not demean me in any way, you know, but I was allowed to be free and be who I am, and not say, "Oh, you're a man and you're acting like a man." No, I'm not acting like a man in any way. I'm using my individuality and my freedom to be who I am. So I think like a big picture would be that people just need to allow people to be their individual selves, not to look to being somebody else for their own gain, and not to put on stereotypical mindsets to then put people in bondage or criticize them for who they are. But I definitely know that when all these societal stereotypes were created, it was for selfishness and power, because they saw gain in what they created, and it was just given down and, you know, perpetrated. And like something Dad said earlier is that, you know, he's like, men are visual, so a lot of value come from, it's all external. It's a view. And I'm not saying, it is very, very scientific that men have more muscle. They have a hormone that produces it, so they can do harder work. Kudos to you. Some things I don't want to do, and you're right. But if there is some female who is producing more testosterone and she wants to be in the gym and she can do the same thing, allow her to do so without taking away her value, her value as a female and being a woman, because, you know, and in that aspect. But there are technically things in anatomy that attribute to men's strength, but it doesn't say that a woman is not strong in what she can also well do, you know. So, you know, so I do see that. I do understand that. But the vision of men have really messed up for women, okay, what they see, the Coke bottle shape and the barefoot and pregnant situation. Society has to get away from the tangible looking and get back to valuing internal grace, the internal mindset of people's visions and intellect. And if people do that, society would be better as a whole. You know what I'm saying? But all these stereotypes are all external, and they're used to put people in bondage.
You know, a lot of these stereotypes that are out there, it's like, I just remember even, years ago when you see women in bodybuilding, and when you saw a woman in bodybuilding, they're like, oh, that's ugly. That looks like a man. Why does a woman being fit and having muscles, why is that? Oh, she looks like a man. How come she can't look like a physically fit, muscularly built woman? And I also think that some of these stereotypes have actually bled over to really perpetrating labels that are now being placed on the children. Children, there are a lot of children, young girls, who don't like dresses. They prefer sweats or sweat hoodies and jeans. And now, as society says, if you want to dress like that, before it used to be you're a tomboy. I know Sonia Green was talking about that before. Before it used to be you're a tomboy, and now it's not, you're gay. How do you dress? Just because you like jeans or you like certain clothes does not equate to your sexual preference or your sexual preference. So it's, how can clothing, or why do we equate clothing to gender? Hoodie does not mean that you're a boy. Blue is not a boy color. Pink is not I'm so glad Pastor Joe wore pink today. Pink is not and I wore blue, Pink is not a girl color. But these are things that society says. How many little girl bedrooms are pink? And everything for a girl is made pink, And what if you did your daughter's room in blue and white or nautical themes? Like, what is she gonna be, a boy? No, it's a color, So why do we have to then, So I'm enjoying this conversation because as women, as people, you can like what you like. If you want a hammer, if you want to work in a house, do it. If you want to play basketball, do it. But don't allow them to pigeonhole you into a sexual agenda or sexual preference because you want to do what you want to do or gain skills in whatever area you want to gain skills. Again, I was climbing poles. I don't have to look butch to climb poles. I was an engineer. I was one of the few women engineers in that area, and the men would do whatever they did. And they called me Miss Culver at the time. Yes, they did. Respect me. They tried to call me Steph or girl. No. You will respect me. But then, of course, I'm the B word. But no, I just demand the same respect that you would give this Mr. somebody over there. So it's, but women, we're free. We are free to be what we want to be. Yeah. And we have to be able to walk that out. And as women, let's encourage each other to be what you want to be, sis. Come on, man. Do what you want to do, sis. Yeah. Work that out, sis. I'm just saying to all my sisters on the line, because we almost out of time. Be who you want to be. Do what you want to do. And don't let society pigeonhole you. Listen, if you don't want to run out and get a husband, you don't have to. Having a husband does not make you any more or less of a woman. Come on. If you don't want to wear that dress, honey, don't wear it. Wearing the dress does not make you any more of a woman. If you don't want to wear those heels and you want to wear some tennis shoes, honey, walk around with your tennis shoes. It doesn't make you any less of a woman. Come on now. Okay? And as women, we got to stop being competitive with one another or even judging one another about external appearances or preferences. We got to be free, allow one another to be free, and encourage one another's freedom as women.
And if I could, I would give y'all 3 snaps in the house. But she didn't.
Well, we are out of time. I have so enjoyed all of you women. We just have a couple of minutes left. I don't know. We're probably going to run off. But if you have anything to say, let's get it out there real quick. We have like 1 minute.
let's not talk about each other as women. Let's support each other.
Yes.
There's
I'm
no
with it.
competition among us. Don't worry about it. We're not fighting to get a man, so there's no need to fight each other for him. You know what I'm saying? You're fighting to be yourself, an individual. So encourage each woman in their individuality.
Amen. Yep. God made us all different. We were all fearfully and wonderfully made, so we're all not going to be alike. That's really what I
Let's appreciate each other's differences and appreciate one another as fabulous women. Yay!
Man. Just like Chloe said, get there.
All right, this has been the Pages Speak. Next week, it's going to be an interesting show. And listen, we're going to give you all the freedom. If you want to write in, inbox us, and ask us, the theme of next week is, would you ever? And me and Pastor Joe are going to be talking, being real transparent. Would you ever? And it may even get into, did you ever?
Whoa. See, I ain't going to be on that show. See, you trying to put me out. Nope, I ain't falling for that trick. Sorry.
Anyway, next week on the Pages Speak, next Thursday, 9 p.m. Would you ever? Anyway, this has been the Pages Speak. I'm Stephanie Page, and
I'm Joe Nathan Lee Page.
Until next week, take care. Bye-bye.